Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Books Nelson with the At Me Bro Show, breaking down the new current generation trailer for 2K21. There are a few things to learn from this trailer. It's mostly fluff, a lot of animations we've seen before, but a few things worth talking about. And the very first thing worth talking about is in the very beginning of this video that I haven't seen in a breakdown discussed yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of other people picked up on it, especially the park folks, and that is that this appears to be a walking size up. So walking size ups are something I've had a love-hate relationship with from 2K18, was it? Or did 19 have them? I'm not sure. I definitely remember them in 2K18. But bottom line was, the good thing about walking size ups was you could branch out of it with a momentum dribble from certain points, and some of the walking size ups were actually effective. The bad part was you would get walking size ups when you wanted a normal size up. So the key is, am I able to tap left trigger or do some other input that allows my player to go neutral right away? If my player can go neutral and I get to choose when I'm doing a walking size up and when I'm doing a regular standing size up, then walking size ups can definitely be a W, especially if you can't get steal spammed out of it. That's the key. If I'm doing this walking size up and all someone has to do to counter it, no matter what my animation is just press square and get me to start stumbling and bumbling, then the walking size up's not effective. So we really have to see how this is balanced, but whether they're balanced or not, they are definitely in the game according to Dame Lillard. All right, so the next thing we're going to see is going to come up right now, and that is the brand new shot meter. Actually, before the shot meter is this sidestep move. Now, most of us don't do a whole lot of sidesteps in the game because they don't create a ton of space and they're not particularly fast and they're very difficult. There are a few players that'll get into these shots, but it's not something you see very commonly. And when I say not very commonly, I'm being generous. Like, you almost never see a sidestep shot on purpose in this game. But I would love to see that change because it's a very effective shot for shot creators. Now, we see here Dame is not creating a ton of space, but he's creating a little bit of space. And if someone reaches and I can react to them tapping square with this move, and they are too into their square animation to recover, then I could see this being a really good counter move. I could also see this being a really good move around screens. Now, my big two problems with the current way the sidesteps are in 2K is, number one, they're too slow, and number two, the animation is just too long and smooth, right? The animation should be more of a staccato-like sidestep jumper, whereas here it seems to be a little in between. I'm not sure if they tweaked it or not, but I have to get my hands on the game to see how it's really responding to controls, because the way it is now, you kind of load it up like a Tekken move where we used to call them dial-a combos, where you tap, 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 and then the thing happened on screen. I'm looking for more responsiveness overall from 2K. So if this feels really quick, then it can be a great thing. Now here we see the new shot meter. Design-wise, I don't love it for a reason I'll explain in a second, but function-wise, I love the fact that I can actually see the green window. You can see the actual center green window, and then you see the kind of make window overall. Now, another thing I will say we notice is that on most difficult shots, side steps, hop shots, spin shots, or whatever, your green window is going to be smaller. But here we see there's no change to his green window. So that could be a really big W for shot creator type builds. And we see here it flashes white. And this is what I'm talking about design wise. The shot covers his hands entirely when he goes up. So you're not going to be able to learn your animation from the same way you would with your shot meter off. What you would probably have to do is take a bunch of shots, get used to the timing, and then record your gameplay, replay it back, look at where that green window was when you hit that green window, and then learn what the animation was at that point. So if we looked at Dame Lillard here, we see that there's a point where his head reaches the top, and then he lets it go. So if that's in sync, then it's really helpful. If it's not in sync, you might as well just turn your shot meter off and learn your shot that way, because it's covering your hand. So it's literally obscuring some of the information you would need to be a really good shooter with that shot animation. So I'm going to let this play through since it's only a minute long and talk about what I'm hoping to see going forward. So one thing DBG talked about was, and DBG is the homie, this is not really a criticism, it's more of a difference of opinion. He looked at the defense a lot in that first clip, and I would caution against looking at anything in terms of the settings and the AI in these clips, because these clips are just engineered to get these clips. This is not tuned for competition or challenging a user or anything like that. It doesn't mean he's 100% wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm definitely not here saying I have a lot of faith that the defense is going to be excellent in 2K21. I'm just saying we're probably going to have to wait and see on that because these clips are just to get, the footage for a hype trailer. This isn't. In fact, it's probably the opposite. It's probably set up, away from the way the game is set to get these clips. And it's a really nice shot getting that LeBron animation. That's pretty cool. Okay, so and another thing is this is not from most likely from a finished version of the game. This is because the trailer needs time to get the footage and edit and all that stuff. They're probably still going to be working on the game up until the first patch is out. So until the first patch is out, we don't know what all of the tunings are going to be. I'm sure those guys are working around the clock right now, finishing up the crunch, as we are a few weeks out from the game being out. Okay, so first gameplay thing that we really see outside of these size ups is we have an in-game nutmeg situation. Once again, kind of a love-hate. I love the idea of this being in a game, but it definitely needs to be something that you can equip, take off, and trigger on your own, and to not overlap with another control. Because if it is the way it is now, and I might be looking for a step back or something, or a snatch back, or behind the back, and that thing triggers because I'm close in contact, I don't like the idea of the proximity of the other player giving me that animation. I understand about the proximity of a player limiting what your animations are. In real life, if someone's close to you, you have to change your dribble moves because they're occupying your space. But a nutmeg in particular, it's a 2-player animation, just not ideal for that to be something that might happen to me when I don't want it to. I don't enjoy it when it happens in the park, and I definitely don't want to see it happening in my gameplay unless I specifically equip it to that character. So the main thing for me is it automatic or is it something I can choose? But I do like the idea of more nutmegs in the game because it's something players are doing more and more. It's a great flashy play. You see there Kobe. Those are old Kobe animations. That might have been another walking size up from Harden. Couldn't really tell in such a short clip. Here we have all of the they're naming the hometowns of all of these guys. They're obviously doing this for a specific reason. I don't know if it's just marketing. So here we have the neighborhood, and this is going to be this is the second to last topic, right? And for me, it relates to what they're talking about with the Barcelona. Now, obviously, the fantasy would be that all of those places are different neighborhoods. I don't know if that's going to happen. So here we have some new neighborhood elements, right? It says 2K Beach. We got a new looking rec center, blah, blah, blah. Palm trees on the other side. So it looks like they're going for a different environment. That's all very cool. But the thing that I'm looking for is what is the content of the neighborhood. Like the neighborhood looking different is cool. It's an improvement. We always want to see something new. That's great. But the thing that would improve my personal experience is what is actually in the neighborhood. So the couple of things that are not in the neighborhood. Number one, 1v1 courts are not in the neighborhood. And when the 1v1 courts are up, people are usually playing those above everything else. Like the 4v4 courts, people kind of skip out on. The 5v5, people run away from because a lot of park players aren't Rec and Pro-Am players. I know some are, but many are not. Many have like 0 games played in the Rec and Pro-Am, and they do not want to be in that team game experience to that level. But the 1v1 courts are usually pretty populated. It feels like the 1v1 court should just kind of always be there. There's no reason not to have a couple of 1v1 courts there with all of that space. So that's one piece of content. The next piece of content is actually a piece of content that's there. And I wish it would go away. And that's the cages. Guys, if you play the cages and you like the cages and that's a way you actually like look to enjoy your time when you press start application on this video game, please let me know in the comment section because I literally don't know anyone who's ever said, hey man, I'm bored and I really want to have a good time. I'm not going to put on Apex Legends. I'm not going to play Park. I'm not going to play Rec. I'm not going to play My Team. I'm not going to play Overwatch or, Ghost of Tsushima. I'm going to go to the cages. I've never heard that before. So let's replace those cages with matchmaking courts that look really cool because there are a lot of cool basketball courts in this game that we never ever play on, right? If you play the beginning of my career, they've got that gorgeous St. Louis, LA indoor courts, the rec courts that you play with your teams on. Those are all great places to play. I'm going to play in those places in the game against other human beings, all right, in the park. So just have that be your matchmaking thing instead of the cages. The cages are ridiculous. So that's it for the neighborhood. And then the last thing we see here is college My Career, right? Florida Gators. This is the My Career player face. I wonder if that's the default face that you're going to be getting, if that's like the voice actor. It actually looks a little on the older side. I could be wrong. It could just be the lighting and, the fact that he has facial hair. But it looks like he's a little on the older side if that's your actual My Career. Now most people make their own faces anyway. I've gotten into the habit of making NBA players of the archetypes that I'm on, and I'm really, really enjoying that. I'll probably do that again next year from jump, take some retired player I'm a big fan of, make an archetype based on him, probably Penny Hardaway, and go from there, depending on what the archetype system is. But the one thing I wanted to say about the college thing is it's really important to me personally. And this is just a personal thing. If you guys agree, let me know in the comments or on Twitter or whatever. If you disagree, let me know as well. If you're a My Career player. If you don't play My Career, this doesn't concern you at all. Many of the 2Ks have had college in them, but the ones that stood out to me are the ones where the college experience was thorough and fleshed out and had real characters, and winning the college games and becoming a good college player and winning that tournament was important. Getting recruited to college was important. You know, playing in those high school games to get looks at college and then, you know, playing in college. I want more of that. I want more of college coaches, college teammates, college interactions, so that if any of those characters do carry over, any of the coaches or teammates that carry over from the college part of My Career into the NBA part of My Career, so that I'm actually invested in it. All right, I'm not going to belabor that point too much. We'll have plenty of time to talk about all of these things as more My Career information drops. I'm obviously glad to see that the Florida Gators are in the game, that it's an option to play them, but this is another wait and see element, which is pretty much what you can expect from a trailer. So all of this was really just feedback and information, not really a criticism, but just a breakdown of what we're seeing. Outside of that, I don't see anything else new that I may have been missing, but if I am missing or something, please let me know. I'd love to see you guys input on it and talk about this stuff as more information drops, all right? Looking forward to this, as well as I know many of you are, hoping that 2K21 on current generation is a next game. Last thing I will say about this is that Agent said that the transition from 2K13 to 2K14 was bad on current gen. I actually totally disagree with that. NBA 2K14 on Xbox 360 was one of the most polished 2K experiences ever that I had experienced. And I'm hoping that this is basically, however you feel about 18, 19, 20, and 21, that this is the best version of those, because it's just all of the little things are cleaned up. Because we know we're going to get a quote-unquote brand new game in next gen. And if you're going to tide me over with something, I'd much rather that it be a super polished, improved version of what you have than some new thing that is also dealing with a lot of the, you know, the random problems that we see in the game. You know, if you've ever been playing 2K and just be like, come on guys, fix your game, the many reasons you might want to say that, I want to see all of that stuff gone, as well as an improvement on the gameplay that you currently have, and most importantly, the features and stuff like My Career and all that you currently have. I have tons to say about all of that stuff, but we'll save it until more information comes out. Thanks so much for watching, and all of you for subscribing and liking the videos. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.